Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Dreamweavers podcast. Hi,
Hello.
everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Today, it is just Deanna and I's lovely selves with all of your amazing selves. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, Deanna, how you doing today, friend?
Hey, I'm doing. It's a busy time of year for me. We're going into spooky season, so business is
Mm.
picking up. Um, living the dream, right?
Oh, that's good. Business is picking up. I love to hear
Yeah.
that for you. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do love their tarot readers during spooky season, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. That's kind of cool.
It's fun. I'll say that. It's really fun. If anyone's local to where I am in Rochester, New York, I do parties. So you can find me at thespiritedsoul.com. We'll put the link below. I think it's already on
Always.
somewhere anyways, but yeah. So yeah, how are you doing?
Oh, we were talking earlier. Here we
Hmm.
go with the weather, as we do.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
were talking earlier about how it's rainy down here, and it's kind of and like you said, it was yesterday up there.
Hmm.
And I don't know, just still kind of feeling a little with the easy Sunday, just okay, this is what we're doing today.
Yeah, it's a Sunday. It's a Sunday vibe. We are recording on a Sunday, so
Yes.
it feels it. Yeah, and we did. We had a lot of rain early yesterday, but it cleared up and it's sunny now. It's not warm anymore, but it's not freezing. So, yeah, the wheel
Good.
is turning, We're heading into the harvest and the fall and kind of getting ready to tuck in for the winter. So, wheel turns.
Mhm. Exactly. It
Hmm.
doesn't even though that's technically what's happening on the planet, down here in Texas, it doesn't feel quite that way yet.
Yeah, you guys got to look for your turn.
We're
I get
still in
it.
over the hundreds up here. So,
Oh.
we're welcoming the break with the rain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, hey guys, so Deanna and I have kind of a fun little thing that we came up with to do for you guys today. We're just going to ask each other some fun little questions that we've heard, we got ideas from, just to kind of give you a sense of who we are. And sometimes it's neat to just have these fun conversations because honestly, Deanna, I don't think I've even asked you some of these questions recently.
Yeah, I know. We have an interesting list. And also it might spark something out there in those of you who are listening or watching or both, just to give you something to think about, right? Give you a little something. So,
Give them a little something, and also maybe it'll spark something that you want to know about us, and you are always more than welcome to ask us anything, of course. So yeah,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
twofold.
Yay.
All right, so we're gonna
All
go
right.
back and forth, guys, and we're just gonna have a little bit of fun with this today. And we're not even gonna take up too much of your time. We're just gonna, like I said, have a little bit of fun, a little chitty chat, and then we'll see you next week. So we're gonna go back and forth.
Yeah.
Deanna, do you want to start it off, or do you want me to?
Sure.
Which do you prefer, darling?
I will start by asking you a question. Um,
Deep breath. No, I'm just kidding.
okay. All right, Ronnie. What is one piece of wisdom that you heard recently that really resonated with you?
Oh, honestly.
Wait, can I just say we didn't practice our answers ahead of time, so
Oh, yeah.
you guys are getting these as they're coming. So, okay.
Yes, that is a true story, guys. Actually, and a whole lot of honesty, ChatGPT helped create this list, so it was a little bit of a surprise for both of us, so
Yeah.
that way we could be more authentic on the air. Thank you for saying that. You're
Mm-hmm.
right. Anyway, to answer that question, my friend Shelley, she she reminded me to stop overthinking. And then
Oh,
she
good
had a
one.
fun little, phrase to say after that. Literally, she said, "Stop overthinking, dumbass."
We need that on a t-shirt, I
And
think.
yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. So much, yeah, I think you're right because and we all do it. And here we go. Deanna, we're both spiritual. How many times do I tell you that when we just have conversations, I'm like, oh, here we go, overthinking something. She did the same thing to
Yep,
me. I know you've done
yep.
things like that to me, like, girl, down the rabbit hole, are we?
I think we all overthink, you know. I think
Yeah.
it's part of being human and part of trying to just prepare ourselves for anything or to find answers. And you're absolutely right. Rabbit hole is the right way to put it. So
Yeah. And
stop
it gets a little
overthinking dumbass sounds really good. Maybe that could be a
that's
motto or
literally,
something.
oh my gosh. You
Or
can't make this shit up.
we could just say soda that. Stop overthinking dumbass. Soda. Soda that.
Oh my God, I love that.
Okay. So
There we go.
maybe the kids that are
Can we
using
can
all
we
the
do
other phrases will pick that up.
is hashtag I feel like hashtags are not really a thing anymore. I feel like they're going away.
I don't
But
know.
I mean, so what's the new thing instead of hashtag? Guys, if you know the answer to this, what's the new thing to hashtag? So, because I don't know, I'm probably dating myself a lot right now, but I want to say hashtag soda is
Yeah,
what I want. But that's not a thing anymore. People don't say that. And I don't, anyway, I
I don't
digress.
even know. Yeah, dating ourselves big time. So, but yeah,
Ah,
I think
who
that's great
cares?
advice. I think
I,
that that really hits the nail on the head, you know?
it's so true. It's so true. All right. So here we go. Your turn, Deanna. You ready?
Oh, sure. Bring
Ooh,
it.
here we go. Oh, this was a good one.
Okay.
Oh, I think this might be my favorite question for you, actually. All
Okay,
right.
no pressure.
And it's number one. So I'm super
Okay.
stoked. What's a myth about healing or spirituality that you'd love to bust right here and now on this show in this moment? I just added that right now.
Um,
I love that question.
something that tends to get to me a bit is that people think that there's a big divide between religion and the spirituality and the metaphysical worlds, whereas their religion and spirituality are different in
Mhm.
terms of their basic definitions. Religion is like following a path
Almost
that
like a
is
doctrine.
a doctrine. That's the word I was looking for. And you know, following along that way with prescribed beliefs or prescribed things you need to do, certain ways you pray or certain things you believe, or you know, traditions and things like that. Whereas spirituality can encompass religion, but kind of goes in a slightly different level where it's more focused on one's actual personal relationship with your personal definition of the divine. So when people say that being spiritual or being metaphysical is evil, you know, I've had tarot cards called evil before. Um, I
Oh gosh, especially
understand.
the death.
Well, I mean, well, I have I'll tell you a quick story about that when I finish this stop. But like, I understand that people are brought up and they have strong held beliefs and faith, and I 100% support faith because I have faith in my image of creator and my relationship with the ascended masters. But I think that when people take it and they just make it black and white that, oh, you do tarot cards, you're evil. You're playing with the devil. I literally, you know, not too long ago I had somebody trying to make me see how I was being led down the path by evil. And, you know, I honestly said, well, I don't believe there's a personification of evil. I believe it's a spiritual, it's a spirit of evil, but maybe not an actual devil with a pitchfork and all that. And I said, you know, I believe that it's a way that people can act. And if you get enough people together with a negative vibe, you're going to raise the negativity. And that's where the idea of evil comes from, at which point they wanted they kind of wanted to pray over me. And I'm saying that as kind of a an example of where the dividing line is, you know, and I'll take prayers. I don't mind. Pray for me. I will pray for you. I pray daily.
Yeah.
Um, but
It's
so
always, yeah.
yeah, the fact that people think that some of the stuff that we're doing or some of the things that we talk about on this podcast and the thousands others that are out there are intrinsically evil. And I would like to say that, if you're feeling that way and that's part of your religion, I'm not gonna contradict you, but I'm gonna urge you to just open up. Just like if you're on a metaphysical or spiritual path and you see religion as the anti-everything, I encourage you also to open your mind and see that it's a Venn diagram with a really big overlap, and
That's a good word.
what one person may call an an ascended master, another person may call Buddha or Jesus, because those are
They're one
what
and the
people
same.
who are talking about ascended masters mean, so there is an overlap, and I do respect religions 100%, and I do respect that there are some doctrines that do not allow for the metaphysical and spiritual type of things. I get that, and that's totally fine because that's your faith and your belief, and I'm not going to try to change anyone's faith or belief no matter where they stand. But I just think that immediately assuming an intrinsic evil is more a sign of not really seeing what it is that's being done. And I encourage, and this is what I told the folks who, were really concerned about my soul, and I thanked them. And I said, it's fine if you want to pray for me. I am not going to say don't pray for me because I pray. I have God. I'm not like somebody running around. I'm not running around with a pitchfork. But I just encourage an open debate. And that was what I was doing with the people that I was talking to and I said, I really like having an open conversation and a mature conversation where we can disagree on things,
And
but
still be
not
friends.
not hate each other.
Right.
I mean, I have limits. I mean, if your belief is that you need to go out and kill all the people, I'm going to kind of say, yeah, I don't agree with you and I'm not going to. But sometimes it's more about the open mind and realizing that there's so much more things that people have in common, and these groups or these divisions, they're self-defined and we don't need
Hmm.
them. We don't have to have them. So I hope I made it clear. What I meant was like, yeah, I think the thought that, you know, because I'm a medium, I am evil. That doesn't sit right because there's other things in other religions that I say, wow, you know what? That doesn't sit with me, but that doesn't make it less valid for the people that are doing it. Therefore, I'm not going to go and change anybody.
Hmm.
So that's a long walk. There's a saying that's a comedian said it once. It's a long walk down a nah, I can't remember it now. I'm going to look this up and I'm going to put this comment that I'm trying to think of in the show notes. It's just going to take me a minute. But to get back to like a little thing about the tarot cards being called evil, many years ago, I had bought like this tiny little deck of tarot cards, like you get at the bookstore on this little thing. They have like a little Zen garden, a little this, a little that. And I bought a
Hmm.
little tarot deck, and I was like, oh, how cute! I didn't know anything about tarot. I thought, oh, this will be fun. This is way before I started practicing, and yeah, I looked at it and I thought, you know what, this isn't the time. That wasn't where I was on my journey at that point. And I had a garage sale and I was like, I'll put these out on the table for $1, right? I'm like, whatever, dollar, somebody can have them. Maybe they'll come to use for somebody. So I'm there and, garage sales going on and this much older lady came up and she was like, well, how much for these? And she held up the tarot cards. I said, oh, $1. That's fine. And I said, but I want you to know those aren't regular playing cards, just so you know. That's a tarot deck. And she's like, oh, I know. So she gives me her dollar and I'm like, well, thanks. I hope you enjoy the tarot. And she says, now I've got them. I can burn these evil cards of Satan or whatever. And I just thought, okay, but I still have the dollar. So, it was just a really good example to me way early on that there's such a division. And I'm always willing to talk about it and I'm always willing to discuss where the differences are, but more often look for the commonalities. So, yeah, that's a big thing. So, that's my
Very
long
good.
answer, but it
It's
is
okay. That's a good
something.
answer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I get it. I
Yeah,
hear you.
yeah, it's a thing. So, Ronnie, are you ready?
Yeah. Okay.
Da, da, da. Okay, Ronnie, if you could give your younger self one piece of advice from everything that you know now, what would that advice be?
I happen to already know the answer to this because I
Awesome.
just got asked this question not too long ago.
Ooh, there's a little synchronicity going on there.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
The biggest thing I would tell my younger self is to figure out how to, without a doubt, not allow other people's words to hurt me. They're
Profound.
just
Yeah.
words. I don't
Hmm.
have to give them meaning.
Right. Oh, that's a deep one. People don't realize how weaponized words can be.
They don't have to be personal. It's my person who's taken them personally. They're
Right.
just words.
Mm-hmm.
I
I love
would
that.
I
Yeah.
would really get that lesson early.
Mm-hmm.
If I could I would I think that, and I think people period that's a game changer for.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think,
Because
yeah.
even though I came into learning that later,
Mm-hmm.
it was still a profound game changer. So, shoulda, woulda, coulda, as if we coulda, like if we could go back, I would love to have that to go back to, or I would love to see how different life would be if, because that's one, it doesn't even sound little. It really doesn't. It actually sounds big, but it is such a big game changer. I think it would change so much.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
I would like to see who I could have been if with just that one thing.
You know, they
Because
teach
now
us.
I'm getting to see who I'm becoming, and I'm loving the journey of
Mm-hmm.
becoming that person who is who words are just words.
Mm-hmm.
And it's taken a there's still moments that I still have to go, ooh, they're just words. That's your shit. That's my shit. That's my stuff. I'll deal with that later. Those are just words, you
Yes.
know?
They
But
teach
it
us the sticks and stones will break my bones, but names or words will never hurt me. But
uh but that's not
kids
true. We don't take
kids
that
don't know
seriously.
that.
No.
Right. Oh yeah, I had to learn that somebody's words are a reflection of them, not a
Not me.
reflection of me.
Hmm.
And that's a really powerful lesson. And
So
I
to really
agree,
fully
yeah.
get that as a kid and to
Hmm.
grow up as a kid being as authentic and non-caring, because you can see where what somebody else's words they matter. So then you start living your life according to other people.
Hmm.
And so by having that nugget, I would have been able to live my life for me. And I wonder
Hmm.
how that would have been.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, sometimes it's like, yeah, 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 Deanna, I sit here and say all this, but then as we were just talking, well, anyway, that was weird. All right, here we go. But as I was talking to somebody else most recently, that you can't understand how great it is if you didn't have the complete opposite before.
Good
And
point.
so I'm really embracing it today, or now, yeah, today. But these moments in my life, in this stage in life that I'm at, to where words are just words, and it's a game changer. Like I said,
Hmm.
I'm enjoying becoming this version of myself.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes those lessons are the hardest ones, right?
Yeah.
But
By
mm,
the way, I wanted to tell you,
yeah.
that color of blue looks really good on you, doll.
Well, thank you. Well, that's a very nice compliment. I
I meant to tell
appreciate
you
that.
that earlier before we started recording, and I forgot because we were talking about all the other things, and I was like, okay,
Oh,
I couldn't pass up the opportunity. Just wanted to tell you.
oh. Thank you.
You're
I
welcome. Well, you're
appreciate
welcome.
that. Oh, that's so nice.
Well, I think it also complements your background photos. So, because I told you
Oh,
how much I love that
maybe.
photo.
Yes, we're looking at fall time now, so we had to switch to
Yeah.
something
More
fallish.
fallish.
More
Yeah.
fallish.
Well, honey,
Yeah.
you know me, I'm gonna live in the sunshine as long as
Oh,
I'm
I would
staying in
too
the
if it
sunshine.
came up here.
I'm staying in the sunshine. So
Yeah.
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 Ooh, Ronnie's right here.
Mhm.
We're finally out of the weeds. Anyway, all right, Deanna, my turn. Here we go. Woo, here we go. My
Okay.
turn. Dun, 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 dun. What's one common question you get from your clients or listeners that you'd like to answer for everyone?
Oh, good
Ooh, that's a
question.
good question.
Good question. I'm gonna say this. Um, I'm trying to think of how to word it. I
Yeah,
do
take your
tarot
time.
card readings very often. I do them all the time. Um, what's my future and am I ever going to fall in love? And where is my soulmate? And why isn't he or she here? All the time. So many people sit down at my table and ask me, I want to know my future. I want to know where my soulmate is, da
Yeah.
da da da. Well, I will tell you that the truth is that a tarot reader, psychic, medium, anything can't tell the future. And if somebody tells you that they can tell you your future, you will find this person at McDonald's on this date at this time. Um, don't give them your money and walk in the other direction. Because the truth is that your future is determined only by you. And every decision you make alters your future to a different way of
Hmm.
going. So if you go home, I tell this to people, if you're driving home and you normally turn right and you decide to turn left, you've changed the game because you're going home a different way. Every experience that you have from there on out is because of the way that you're going. If you turn right, maybe you saw flowers. If you turn left, maybe you see rocks. Different experience. So you see the rocks, your thoughts go in a different way than they would if you saw the flowers, changing your thought process, which then changes what you're manifesting into your life. So, the future is so malleable. It is so changes so much. Now, there are some things that like you can see coming or you can see potentials. So when I do readings, I tell people in this moment, at this time, on this path, this is a possibility. And if this does happen, these are some ways you might want you may decide to deal with things if it's difficult, right? Because my readings are about what's going on in your life right now and what does spirit have to say to give you help on how to navigate what you're doing right in this moment, right? So if you're asking, when is my soulmate going to show up? Let me tell you, I am asking the universe that every day too. But but I know I'm not going to get the answer because that whole soulmate love romantic thing that we're all walking around looking for, um, that comes in the time that is right for it to be there. Because if you're not ready, they're going to, and they show up, how are you going to make that work? You know, the whole star-crossed lovers stories, right? We can start, well, Romeo and Juliet was a bit more than that, but you know, the missed opportunities, the we passed each other and never really made that connection, or we looked at each other
Serendipity,
and
the
felt
notebook.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those, I don't watch all those sappy romance things, so you're better at knowing that than me. I like Shakespeare though, but um
Okay.
so the we looked and we felt a connection, but then he got off at a different bus stop than me and then I never saw him again. Maybe that's because the time wasn't right, and if the time isn't right, then the person isn't right.
Hmm.
So this is where we run into all of these things. And I mean, this is an ongoing conversation in a lot of my friend groups is, well, you know, I'm waiting. I'm waiting, I'm trying, I'm hoping,
That's
whatever.
just it. Stop waiting.
Exactly. That was where I was going with this is that waiting
Sorry.
is, I mean, no, no, that's fine
I couldn't
because
help. That was a total knee-jerk
like
reaction.
like
Apologize.
yeah, no, I saw this meme and it was like somebody sitting at home, or maybe it was real, and they're sitting at home and they're in their bathroom and their hair's all messy and their makeup's all run down their face and they're eating all kinds of junk food, and they just like the doorbell rings and it's like, this is how I expect my soulmate to come up, just show up at the doorstep. It doesn't happen. it comes when it's ready. Now, is it possible you may open your door to the UPS deliverer and find true love? Uh-huh, sure. But not until you're ready for it and not until they're ready. So sitting at home and waiting doesn't do anything. By the same token, working on yourself is where it comes because like attracts like. This is a universal law. So you want that future, you want that person, you have to become that person that you want. Okay? So develop in yourself those characteristics, those traits, those beliefs, those things that you want in somebody else, and you will attract that. Now, the way that you do that, I had to think for a minute. The way that you do that is finding what it is you like about yourself and bringing that forward and
Hmm.
becoming your authentic self. And in order to do that, sometimes you have to go deep and you have to remember that you do like yourself. You have to let go of some of those core beliefs, going right back to what you were saying about words, right? Maybe you were reinforced something and you have an internal monologue that you don't even realize that you're saying all the time, right?
And that more than likely isn't yours
Right. That
because
is
you
the
truly listen to those words.
you internalize them.
Those weren't my words.
Right. You if it's as children we internalize what we're told because we're still
Hmm.
awakening. And sometimes you have to go in and let some of that stuff go, you
Of
know?
course.
And now I have heard of the practice where you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror and you say five good things about yourself and why you love yourself and everything. Personally, that doesn't sit right for me. If it works for you, fine. I'm more likely to listen to what I'm saying and correct myself out loud, right? So if I say, "Oh my God, my hair is such a mess today," I'll stop and say, "You know what? I really like this color." Or, "Boy, she did a good haircut last time." Something like that to take that thought, remove it and replace it because that's how we get rid of things. You feel you
Higher
feel these
level.
old childhood things that are sunk in your body. You need to first remove them, but then you need to replace them with something for your higher self and your highest best or your excitement or use whatever catchphrase you want. And that is when you are going to be able to find your soulmate. And then people, well, I'm ready. People will say, "I'm ready. I'm here. I've been doing the work. I've done the work. And now why isn't this happening?" Because maybe they aren't ready for you yet. Maybe you need to wait for them. Do your work, keep doing your work, find your authentic self, follow your passions, do the things that make you feel good, become who you really are. And at the same time, that person is doing the same work so that when you both hit that apex, nadir, whatever you want to call it, apex, not nadir, apex, um, you'll automatically attract.
Hmm.
Until then, it's a matter of living your authentic life, being who you really are, and first of all, figuring out who that is. That's not an answer people want. People want to hear, "Oh, he'll be here on Tuesday at 4 o'clock," or "You'll see her at the gym on
I'm so glad we
Saturday."
have that date.
Well,
Now
that's
I
what I
I can look
mean.
forward to it.
I don't see people's futures because they're creating them. You create your own future. You create your present. Your present is what leads you to your next present, which is your future.
Hmm.
So be yourself in the moment. Learn who you are. Learn what you love and learn what you love about yourself, and then live that passion. And when it's right and when the other person is ready, it happens because a lot of us have had the experience where you meet somebody and it clicks. But you know what? You're here on the journey and they're still over here. They haven't gotten here yet. Divine timing. And that tells you that's somebody who could have been very important and probably was important in some other time, right? In some other life or some other spiritual connection. But the one that's ready for you will show up when you're both ready for each other. And that's when it happens. So that's what I tell people. Um,
I think
because
it's perfect because it's all so
yeah,
true. Yeah. It
Yeah,
is. It's absolutely perfect.
you can't predict the future or when someone's going to show up in your life because then what would happen is you would just sit around until that moment and go, it's 4 o'clock, I got to go to McDonald's now. Or I
Mm,
got to go do this because the psychic told me that I was going to meet someone. And then you're going to go and what's going to happen? You're going to be completely disappointed. Or you're going to find somebody and cast your aspersions on them and say, "Oh, this must be the person," and set yourself up for something that
possible
may not
failure.
be real.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, could it happen? Would it be awesome?
Absolutely. It could
Absolutely.
happen.
But don't rely on external things to bring you what you need to learn internally.
Mm.
And you need to work on the internal part first. And even when you think you're done working, even when you say, "But I'm ready," and you may very well be ready, the other person has to be ready too.
Hmm.
And that's when you just keep going
Well,
on
and
living your
sometimes,
passion.
I don't know about you, but there's been times that I've thought I was ready just to come and realize, oh, I wasn't.
Hmm. That's natural too.
That's why
Because
it didn't happen, is because now the beautiful clarity of, hindsight being 2020, right? I can go, oh, I thought I was ready, but I wasn't ready.
exactly. Because
Yeah.
to do the work,
Because they know better
first,
than us.
oh, well, first you go down. You go into the depths of yourself and you do that shadow work and you do the work saying, what am I holding on to? Like, and I probably have said this a million times. Don't look at what triggers you, look at why it triggers you.
Hmm.
And then when you figure out why it triggers you, ask why again and get down into the depths. Like it's walking down the stairs to turn on the light and then go back up the stairs. And that's how you can make
Fun,
yourself ready.
fun stuff.
Yeah, I know. I know. It would be better just to go to McDonald's at 4 o'clock on a Tuesday. I mean, what the heck? But it doesn't happen that way.
It would absolutely be, yeah, can't I
Yeah.
just have that option, Deanna?
If I could tell people, yes, you're going to meet your true love one and only at this and this time, you know what would happen is that people wouldn't do anything. And you wouldn't do the inner work that you need to do to be ready to really accept what a soul
Yeah,
relationship is.
I know, but sometimes, man, keep on going down them steps like you were talking about. Whoo, child, sometimes it gets a little,
It's rough. It's
it
rough. And
does, it does.
we are all
But you
doing
know
this
what?
all the time. We're
It's
going up
worth
and
it.
down. Yes.
It's so worth it. All
Yes.
right, girl, here we
Okay.
go. Next
All right.
question.
All right, Miss
Oh, I think it's
Ronnie,
me.
I am
Yes, yeah.
asking you, what is something that surprised you in your own journey recently? Maybe an aha moment or a lesson that you didn't expect? This is contemplative silence,
Mm,
everybody.
thank you. Ooh, give me a second.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
What is a surprising aha recently?
We want to come back to it? You want me to pull a different question for you?
Blurred lines.
Blurred lines.
Clarify the blur.
I like that.
I don't do blurred lines.
Mm-hmm.
I know, likey. I want to
Mm-hmm.
clarify. Now, journey. Haha. Hmm. Okay, there we go. You know, wow, Deanna, this is seriously gonna. Okay, I'm about to. Oh, child.
You can pass.
No,
Okay.
I'm just about to get lengthy.
Okay, go for it.
Um, I just had this moment. This is the aha.
Okay.
As I was coming to that, you and I had a conversation a little earlier before we start the conversation on the phone before we started this, with the
Mm-hmm.
blurred lines. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, so here we go again with the words, right? And words, meaning just words, part of that, as well as clarifying blurred lines. It's really learning how to be comfortable enough with yourself and have the trust within yourself. Because what's awkward and uncomfortable is, and this is what I tell people, I'm awkward. I'm so awkward because I speak it all. I
Hmm.
tell you everything about how I'm feeling and where I'm coming from so that that way you don't have any bloody guesswork to do. Right? I'm feeling awkward and weird in this moment. That's weird and awkward to say, but I'm
Right.
the person who says it so that maybe you're feeling that way too. And I don't know. I'm just the person who always says it. So with that being said, it comes back to having that confidence within yourself to continue speaking your awkwardness to get to the clarity that you need when lines seem blurred or when you're not comprehending.
Hmm.
And that gets really uncomfortable sometimes for people. And I understand it. I do because it's uncomfortable for me to continue.
Hmm. Agree.
But I don't understand yet, so I'm not going to give up. Seek first
Being,
to
yeah,
understand.
right.
I can't meet you where you're at if I'm not understanding. And you can't, for me, I guess I need that understanding to be able to, if I can't meet you where you're at, how do I navigate the situation? Right?
Hmm.
So I guess the biggest aha is wow, I think I just realized how much I've grown because I am willing to continue. These aren't hard conversations. We know the hard conversations,
Hmm.
and we all do whatever the proverbial bootstrap put on the big girl pants or, grow a pair, whatever that proverbial stuff is that people
Yeah.
say to get through the hard conversations. These are the really awkward ones. Usually the awkward ones are the ones that we avoid. So yeah, this is yeah, how much I've grown to continue getting through the awkwardness. I
So
don't know.
to be vulnerable within your vulnerability,
Oh,
that's a big thing. That's a hard thing
yeah,
to do. To be able to speak
it
your
is. It's a lot of vulnerability.
speaking your truth at a time when you already feel vulnerable is terrifying for so many people.
And to be able to also make sure that because usually when those situations arise, you're overloaded with feelings. So you're having to navigate feelings and make sure that your brain and feelings, like what's coming out of your mouth is how you want it to be correct. You want it to come out of your mouth the way you want it to come out of your mouth, um, instead of just being pure feeling warfare. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's never cool. And so
Right.
just, yeah, being able to have that wherewithal to step back and have your words come out correctly, even though the insides of your body are like,
Oh, it's
what's happening?
difficult.
What's going on? And you're in like all this, like the duck paddling, going crazy under the water, but on top they still look smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, all righty.
Wow. No, that was really deep
So
and
yeah,
so hard to speak your truth and
sometimes.
so hard sometimes to feel safe enough to do that. And to be your authentic self includes speaking your truth, even in a state of vulnerability. So yeah, that is a
Yeah.
big thing. That's a huge thing.
It's just getting better every day. All right, beautiful. You ready? Your turn.
Sure. Bring it.
Ah, okay. Here we go. This is where we're at. If you could send one message out to everyone listening who might be going through a tough time right now, what would you want them to hear? Hmm.
Just one. Um,
Yeah, and yeah, just one.
I think that it's important to know when you're struggling that you aren't ever really alone. And even in your loneliness, there's something more out there. Um, People will call it God, infinite intelligence, universe, spirit, spirit guides, ancestors, earth spirits, nature spirits, whatever kinds of things that people give, angels, guardian angels. Um, there is something there. And it's important to know that in the darkest times, there's still light for you somewhere. And I know the feeling of being in your darkest times. And I know how dark it can get. And take from that the fact that it's survivable. And obviously, if it's getting to a point where it doesn't feel survivable, reach out to the people and places around you to help. Because even if you think you don't have friends, you have support. And it's so important to remember that you're we aren't really alone. We're surrounded by support, but our own inner thoughts and our own inner dialogue will actually create those walls. And like in the movie, pop culture reference, in the movie The Wall by Pink Floyd, it's a story of Pink, who is a rock star, who is having delusions and mental breakdown and working so hard and really kind of going into a psychotic break that he builds a wall to protect himself from it all. And the only way he could get out was to break the wall down. And that's a very, very small synopsis of the many things that movie is about. But we build our walls and sometimes we don't realize them. And then we're behind our walls thinking there's always been a wall and that we're always alone, but we're not. And it doesn't feel sometimes that just saying, I need help will do anything, but it really does. Because if you're just putting that intention out to the universe, you can use that as a rope to start climbing the wall. You can say, I need help and I know somebody's listening. And then where can I find somebody that I can actually talk to? Or what can I do? And, people say, oh, if you're feeling down, phone a friend. Or, oh, you feel sad, go shopping. Those aren't those aren't the kinds of things I'm talking about. You can be having a bad day, call your friend, have a cup of coffee, leave with some laughs and everything's fine, right? But when you're going through really hard times, it can be very, it can make you feel very separated. And understanding that you're not alone is one of the first things that can start pulling you up out of that. And then using those resources, which is also hard. There's the spoon theory that, you don't have a lot of spoons some days, and that's okay, but know that you'll get more. And know that there's help out there in so many ways. Sure, you can go to a psychic, a medium, a tarot card reader, an energy healer, all that stuff is one modality. Um, but there's more too, there's more because we walk the line between physical and spiritual all the time because we're a spirit in a physical body. So we have both of these things going on at the same time. And we have our physical reactions based in the physical world, our spiritual reactions, our spiritual thoughts based in the spiritual world, but they overlap, right? So feeling a sense of despair can make you feel sick to your stomach, for example. You can have physical symptoms of spiritual and emotional and whatever other kinds of traumas or issues that you're facing. And it's important to help yourself feel better is to nurture both of those aspects. So
Mhm.
you look at the spiritual and you take it for everything that it offers. And there's so much, but you have to look at the physical part too. And I'm a big supporter of call the doctor. get counseling, you know, call out to whatever's out there because there's more than you think. And I guarantee you, if you call out to something like that and they can't help you, they will find somebody who can. And if they don't, then you just call the next number that you find and you keep going. And each one of those actions is another step up to get out from behind that wall. And it's just important to remember that you have to nurture both halves. You can live with one foot on either, and you can walk that line because honest to God, that's what we're all doing. We just don't all know it. But if you fall too far on one or the other, you're missing the whole other component, and it takes both. When you die, your spirit's gone, right? That's the disconnection. That's the separation. That's how it works. But if you need to stay alive, you need them both. And you need to nurture both aspects of yourself in that way. And it could be something small, it could be something big, but when you're feeling that you're in that darkness, don't be afraid to reach out. Reach out spiritually, but also reach out physically and understand that is out there for you. And we've talked about mental health before and on this a few times. And we've talked about physical
We're
health on
big on
here a few
that.
times. Um, I will always tell you if you can't make your own neurotransmitters, store-bought is fine. And I know there is a big divide in the spiritual community itself about the therapeutic use of doctor prescribed medications. We know this. We know there's a vaccine debate. We know there's debates on almost everything to do with medicine. And respecting that there are so many sides to so many things, I will always tell you, reach out for help if you need it. Um, medicinal medicinal. Pot, mushrooms, LSD, whatever you want to say. And I'm dating myself probably by even calling them those things. But the psychedelics or the mood altering drugs that you get, that's awesome. They have a place, but there's other options too. And sometimes people will trade the darkness for addiction or
Mhm.
dependence, maybe that's a better word. And there's nothing wrong with plant medicine. And I'm never going to say there's that plant medicine is not valid. I'm just going to say that just as you nurture your spirit and your physical, plant medicine and traditional medicine can also work together. That said, some of them really don't work together. And so if you're going to combine, you need the help from the pharmacist or the doctor to tell you, no, don't take these. Okay. But I'm going a little bit off subject, but the important thing is reach out for help if you find yourself behind the wall. Reach out for help if you find yourself in the darkness because there is light. It's just when your eyes are closed, you can't see it. And sometimes you need help opening them. So I'm going to leave that at that. And
Perfect.
yeah,
All right, you ready?
yes.
All right, next question. I think it's me
Okay.
because you
Yes,
answered
I'm
that
just
one.
digesting for a minute because I was in a space.
Because
Okay,
you were.
Ronnie, here we
Yeah.
go. What is one book, podcast, or resource that's been a game changer for you lately?
Oh, yes. Okay. Um, podcast actually.
Okay.
I was so excited. I happened to, hello, love podcasts, right? I was
Yep.
watching Mayim Bialik. Goodness gracious,
Oh,
I hope I'm saying that name correctly. I love her. I adore her. Mayim Bialik. I was watching her podcast. I remember her when she was the little girl in Beaches.
yes, I remember that.
I wasn't in the stage in my life to watch her as Blossom.
Right.
I was a little too old for that,
Me too.
right?
I get it. Yep.
Okay. But then she reappeared as freaking Amy Farrah Fowler. Ah! And I
Yes.
was all in and loved her character so much. So then and then she starts her podcast, and I was like, okay,
Right.
subscribe straight away.
Right.
Anyways, so I am a huge fan of hers. Well, the biggest thing was I love her even. Here's another I love you. How many ways can I say how much I love some Miriam Bialik? Um, she had Lee Harris on there.
And tell us who Lee Harris is.
Lee Harris is the channeler who channels the Z's. He's quite known in our world, in our community, and I just think he's a phenomenal human. I follow him. I subscribe to a lot of his stuff. I listen to him. I watch a lot of podcasts that he's on.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those people that I follow. And the conversation, and he happens to be a huge Blossom fan, so he was
Oh,
having a little bit of a fangirl moment, or fan guy, but
fanboy,
fan
fan
moment.
guy.
He
Yes.
was having a fan moment,
Yes.
right? Where he's like, as I would be, a little starstruck. Oh my God. Right. And just those moments. And he even admitted that, which I thought was so genuine and neat, anyway. But the conversation and the entire episode was so cool. He never even channeled on the podcast. Um, it was just more of where are you coming from? And I'm trying to understand because of how what I know, her background, her schooling, everything, because she's very multifaceted. I mean, she's got degrees out the wazoo. Well, she's got a few degrees, maybe not out the
Mm-hmm.
wazoo, but she's got a few degrees, right? You know, as
Yeah.
well as all the things she's been so able to do, fortunate, able, probably made happen for herself, but anyway, that she's done in her life, I just think is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So she's over here just really getting to know this human and understand where he's coming from, who is so way outside her norm. Gotta love
Well,
that.
her podcast seems to have changed a little bit, which I love it from a really like more of a science base, or actually she started with interviewing other celebrities and talking about their experiences outside of the celebrity world. I think she did some on
NDEs.
that.
And she really was on the NDE track for a while
But
too.
before that, like it was addictions or just trouble growing up in Hollywood and things like that. But
Oh,
you're right.
that's right. I do
It
remember that.
has, yeah, that was
I
when I
didn't
first
listen to
started listening. Yeah.
Okay, see, and I didn't listen to her as much during then because to me it was another celebrity podcast.
Yeah, that's why I was listening at first, but I also know like she's a
But when she's, but
yeah,
I also wasn't listening to really catch the gist. The NDEs is when my game, yeah.
right. And she's a neuroscientist. So she's really combining that then the science with the spiritual, which is
Because
totally
you
my
can't have
jam.
science without spirituality.
There again, another thing that work together, body and soul, right? The same concept. So it sounds like Lee
She's
was
really
was
cool.
quite
Treat
a
for her.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I think
And
we
of
should.
course her partner Jonathan, he's already on the woo.
Hmm.
You can tell he's into the woo or he's woo because there's a lot of things he says. I'm like, oh yeah, you're woo woo. I love. And so, but he was really in. He had some
Hmm.
good questions too. So yeah, that was a really good one. I really enjoyed it.
So we need to link both her podcast and Lee's podcast at the bottom because people might be very interested
I can
in that.
absolutely
So
do
we'll
that.
have
I
to.
can tell.
We should definitely link that. Yeah.
I'm making a note to do that. That's a brilliant suggestion. Thank
Hmm.
you.
Hmm.
Link
Absolutely. I mean, if we find something
podcast.
cool, we want to share it. And same goes for you guys out there listening. You find something cool that you want to share, put it up. We'll take a look. We'll
All
share it.
right.
All right.
Here you go, Deanna. You ready?
Sure, bring it.
This is your very last one.
Okay.
We're already at the end. Here we go.
Wow.
Well, we've also been here for a while. We
Yeah.
we've been talking, girlfriend.
So much for not taking up a lot of everybody's time.
Yeah, that was the end. Oh, yeah, I did say that, didn't I?
That's all good.
My bad. Well, hopefully they're enjoying it and they're still around because I don't know. I think
Hmm.
this has been fun. Anyway, all right. Finally, what's one intention you'd like to set for our listeners as they go on with the rest of their day? As they hear this, I will say today.
Just one. You guys know I'm the wordy person who loves to talk on this podcast, right?
I love you.
My intention for you is that you may remember to walk your life in gratitude, to remember those who came before you so that you can lead into the future for those that are yet to come. My intention for you is to remember that the sun is there even behind the clouds and the moon is still shining on the darkest night. My intention for you is to remember who you are and to live an authentic life, walking, running
Mm.
into your beautiful future. So I will leave that intention for you.
Oh, Deanna, that was so good. I totally felt that.
Good.
I was pretending to be a listener and well, I am a listener. I always listen to you, but I was being the listener as you were saying that and receiving it myself. So that was really good. One, two, three. Ah, good job, girlfriend. All right, last question for me. Here we go.
Da, da, da. All right, let's end on a funny note. Ronnie, tell me what is an unexpected or humorous thing that has happened in your spiritual work lately or your life in general.
Funny. Deanna loves this. She's finally getting her wish. Live podcast, girlfriend.
Yep.
We were talking about
Awesome.
it.
Awesome.
So, what we were talking about, so I had the incredible pleasure of being on Tammy's podcast, Tammy Lopresti, the numerologist who was on ours.
Mm-hmm.
She is episode What's Your Digits, guys. If you haven't watched that, she's amazing.
Yeah,
What's Your
go check it out.
Digits with Tammy Lopresti. She has a podcast called Beyond Numerology. Of course she does. It's called
Mm-hmm.
Beyond
Mm-hmm.
Numerology. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, pardon. So anyway, I had the incredible pleasure of being on that, and we laughed the entire time. We had so much fun. And Deanna, yeah, we got to get that live thing going.
Oh, we will.
Oh, we're going to
We
because
will.
I don't, we had to get going, but now that I've actually done that, I know that's been your thing and you've been wanting to do it for a while. And I've said
Mm-hmm.
yes. We just
We just haven't done
haven't
it.
made it
Yeah.
happen yet. But now that I've actually experienced it, girl, ooh, child, when I tell you, girlfriend, I am so all in. I am so all in. It was really fun. It was
Good.
really fun
Yeah.
because you can
Yeah.
see people's comments, and you can interact with them, which is one of the things that we talk about on this podcast all the time. So I told those listeners to come over here and listen to us and start interacting, and maybe it would start a little bit more interaction with our listeners and stuff. Hint, hint.
Hint, hint, that is a foreshadowing of something to come. Um,
Are you ready to
that,
talk about that? We
well,
got some things in the works. We told you guys
yes.
we got some things in the works. We really do have some things in the works. Deanna and I have been having a timing thing. And so I tell you what, maybe we should just leave it on a teaser. We promise there's really some cool stuff coming. We're going to get it worked out.
Here's a teaser, though. I'll give a little teaser. Spooky season is going to be really fun around here, and you guys are going to be part of it. That's all we're
Yeah.
gonna say. You'll
Yeah.
see us, we'll come on, we'll put a blurb up, you'll see what we're talking about. It's important for you to watch for that because hey guys, come on, it's spooky season, right? The
Oh my
best time of
gosh.
the year.
So the
So
best.
it's coming.
Yeah. And
It's
we're
coming.
excited for it.
Hmm.
So everybody out there, yeah, this did end up. Deanna, you're right. That's because we both love to talk. So
We
here we
talk.
are. That's why we have
That's
a
why we,
podcast.
yeah, yeah. And if you're hearing this, then you listened, and that's awesome. And
And thank you
talk in
for
the
sticking around.
comments. Yeah. And comment on what we said. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Do you want to add something? Do you want to answer a question yourself? Go for it. We
I was
love
just
that.
gonna say, what if one of our listeners took one of those questions? Just take one of the questions Deanna and I posed to each other.
What if all
Pick
of our listeners
one.
did that? Everybody can do that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and pick one of those questions and leave an answer in the comments for us. I would love to read those. That'd
Me
be so
too.
freaking cool.
Me
That
too.
would
I
be.
mean, part of
Yeah.
doing this is really wanting to be able to have a relationship with those of you who are listening. And that's what we want because that's what we're here for, right? We're all just walking the same path, going to the same destination. Whatever routes we're taking, we're all going the same place. So sharing our journeys and sharing our adventures is what makes this fun and learning and loving. So, yeah, we love to hear from you. We will link the let's link the we'll link Ronnie's podcast with Tammy and on
Whoa, yeah,
Tammy's
we'll get to
podcast definitely. We will link to
Mayhem.
Maya. We will link to Lee.
Maya.
I will remember the quote that I can't remember and put it down there from the beginning of the podcast. And like I said, if anyone is local to me, I'll put my website up. And if you're looking to schedule a party or an event, hello, it's spooky season. I'm filling up fast, but I still have some slots open. And I also do some things online. So even if you're not local, take a look, check it out. Um, Anything else, Ronnie, before we're done?
No, I was making notes to link because you said not just
Link to the
Mayim's
podcast that you were on.
but
Oh yeah, Maya
Larry's
and Lee. Lee. Yes, Lee
Lee.
Harris.
Yeah. So that I was just making notes while you were talking so
You
that
guys all
way
can see
my
who does the technical stuff around here because it's not me.
So yeah, I was just making sure I had all my notes. Yeah, so I think that's great and groovy. And yes, we do have some and I was gonna do a shout out to Kim.
Yes.
Hey Kim, I have a question for you. Share a small daily ritual or practice that you find really grounding or uplifting. Kim,
There we go. We put you on the spot.
write your answer. I want you to share a ritual or a practice that you find really grounding or uplifting. Share that with our listeners and us. So, Kim, get this thread going. Kim will do it for us. Everybody else, thank you so much for being here. It's been amazing. Deanna, close us out, please, beautiful.
Thank you. Like, share, subscribe, make comments, come on our show, give us a holler if you've got something you'd like to share. Do you do something really cool? Do you do something really different? Something kind of ooh woo woo? Hit us up. We love to highlight what is going on outside our own little areas, right? What's going on in the rest? What are you doing? How do you shine your light in the world? Let us know. Get to be a guest. It's always fun.
I have one shout out.
Yes.
Shout out to Jen. Shout out to Jen. Okay.
Yay. Okay. So, as always, be blessed, be blissed, and know that we will see you again really soon. Ciao. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.